Let's say we're going through pre-screening and we want to simply verify that a person who was involved in agriculture in the segment last year is still involved in agriculture in the segment this year. Notice that the POID for track D is grayed out as it hasn't yet been screened. So I'm going to click on where it says D4 to open the screening form for this tract. Did they operate inside the red lines? Yes. Next, we'll pop up the address verification screen, very similar to what you're used to with other CAPI surveys. I have the operation name, operator name, address, and phone number. Assuming nothing has changed, we can verify this information and continue. What were the boundaries of the land operated inside these red lines? That again is something you would have already negotiated with the operator during the phone interview, and you should have already drawn the segment boundaries on the photograph. We'll click Next to continue. On the total acres operated on June 1, have there been or will there be any crops grown, hay cut, livestock, poultry, honeybees, or aquaculture raised this year? We're going to click Yes, and once we do, an orange banner is going to pop up immediately that says this respondent qualifies as an Ag Tract. I do not need to ask any more screening questions, so as soon as I hit Next, I'm given a choice. Do I want to screen another tract or submit the tract and start the survey? Assuming we're still in the pre-screening phase and it's too early to begin starting Ag Tract interviews, I'm going to screen another tract instead and call this one good for now. When I click on that button, it will bring me back to my listings. Notice that the POID for tract D is no longer grayed out. It is now bold, indicating that Ag Tract form has been created for this operation. Now, when you're working with the CAPI production instrument, you will not be able to click on the POID to begin entering Ag Tract data until late May or early June because of the June 1 reference date for all of the questions on the Ag Tract questionnaire. However, CAPI training does not have that same restriction on it, so now that the tract has been screened, it is ready to go. Before closing out this video, let me talk for a minute about the status column. Notice that the status column is still blank for tract D, as opposed to tract A, which has a timestamp for when the interview was completed because it was a non-Ag tract and requires no additional information. Tract B was no longer in the segment and is being replaced by newly added non-Ag tract G, which also contains a timestamp for when it was completed. Because tract D is an Ag tract, the status will not show up with a timestamp until after the Ag Tract interview has been submitted.